everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the EventUp podcast. And today we are celebrating something big. It's actually our 100th episode. I know, I can't believe it. We made it to 100. I just want to take a moment and say thank you. Whether this is your first time tuning in or if you have been with us from the very beginning, I'm so grateful to have you here. When we initially launched EventUp, the goal was really simple. It was really just to spotlight brilliant, creative, passionate people behind events, activation, and marketing moments that bring people together and leave a lasting impact. What a journey it has been. Over the last 99 episodes, I have had the absolute pleasure and honor sitting down with so many industry trailblazers, visionaries who have really pushed boundaries, redefine engagement, and build moments that move millions. Each guest has brought something truly unique, a fresh perspective, a powerful session, or even an unforgettable story. This podcast started as a spark, and it's grown into something that genuinely connects people in our industry, and that's all thanks to you, our listeners, the entire EventUp community. And today we're not just celebrating a number, we're celebrating stories, voices, and the moments that move us. Coming up in this episode, we'll revisit some of the most powerful insights from our past guests, sharing a few special shout outs, and give you a sneak peek of what's to come for EventUp. Let's jump in. Along the way, we have also grown. EventUp is now recognized by FeedSpot as one of the top event marketing podcasts. EventCube has spotted us as the voice shaping the future of experiential marketing. And yes, we even wrote a book, EventUp, right here. Oh my gosh. A guide to impactful event experiences brings together lessons from this incredible journey. But really today we celebrate that journey. From immersive storytelling to disruptive innovation, this episode is really a tribute to all the voices and moments that made up EventUp what it is today. Let's start with the heart of what we do, events and experiences. Here's are some of the voices who redefine what's possible. From elevating brand identities to embracing marketing magic, these leaders help us think beyond the booth.
Experiential marketing is taking that experience, that product, that app, that merchandise or whatever, and really like showcase it to the masses, So it's, to your point, it's not an event, it's not a party necessarily. It is taking this the opportunity to like feature something and make people experience it so they know what you're trying to market.
Post-pandemic, people don't want the same thing they were getting before. They want something different, whether that's F&B, if you're presenting your F&B in a totally new way, a creative way, or that's the design, or even approaching the content from a more interactive perspective and kind of cutting down your agenda a bit, making sure that there are more breaks, there's more time to, reflect on your learnings and connect intentionally rather just completely stuffing in the agenda. I think people, attendees especially, really want a newer experience that's more balanced. So the planners that can adjust to that and take that feedback in step are really, putting themselves ahead. In terms of mistakes, I think that kind of goes hand in hand with what I just said. So if you're just following the exact same formula, you're not really meeting today's expectations. Number one, we are seeing in some of our research, and we do the pulse survey research that we've been doing since the very beginning of the pandemic, and we release it about every 6 weeks or so. So we just did a new batch of data that was released about a week or two ago. And costs and budgets were the top two concerns that we saw in the planners polled. We had over 600 responses. So if you're not planning ahead for that in terms of costs being, so much higher than they were, you can get definitely stuck in a tricky situation.
Customer service, I can't say it loud enough. From the minute someone gets to that registration desk, the experience, the on-site experience, and honestly, even before then, the pre-event experience during the registration process, that is really what sets apart a good event from a great event. You can have all the bells and whistles on site, but if your staffing isn't polished, if your computer system is wonky and it's causing the user experience to be lengthy. If you're using an invitation management tool or a registration tool that isn't intuitive, that leaves folks questioning how to get to the next page or what they should answer, and it takes too long, all of that affects the bottom line of the event. And I think that taking away all the bells and whistles, it really comes down to the client experience through that customer service, through that white glove service, not about the sales. It's really about building those relationships through one-on-one communication, through really specialty approaches when you're dealing with events.
I think an event goes from good to great when it creates a memorable experience for attendees. This can be achieved by focusing on the tiniest of details, thoughtful design elements, engaging activities, and I think the quality of food and beverage. Additionally, just creating a sense of community and connection amongst attendees is the perfect recipe for a great event.
We actually went deep into the research in making our value even more important. So we knew the strength across Canada. We knew where we were good in life sciences and natural resources and agribusiness and tech and so forth. We have 6 key sectors that we know we're economically really, really good at. But now what we did and pivoted was to find out where were those hubs in the world. So doing that same research internationally. And so we found out that out of the 6 key sectors that we focus on, there were 19 international hubs that focused on those same sectors. And that's where the majority of our clients were sitting. And so for us, it allowed us to be even more targeted and align ourselves with those destinations and those hubs to connect the dots. And that's really paid off.
We did our premiere in a way that was kind of not traditional. We didn't just do a red carpet that just had press and talent on it. We actually invited players to be the stars. They were the talent. So we did things like had our actual influencers, like the folks that community content creators, they were the features telling the folks on the carpet what was going on. They were filmed. They had the microphones. They were interviewing talent. They were interviewing, us, but they were telling that story, right? Because they're the ones that speak to millions of players worldwide. And we don't need to, overcorrect on those things. Like they do it better than sometimes we do.
Stay organized, trying to stay positive. We worked a lot remotely. It's always better to have, as you know, in the events world, contingency plans and backup venues, get to know everybody in the business and to have phone calls and get coffees and see where you can help out. Growing your network is always the best way to do it, but also to, maintain your reputation and make sure that you're always putting your best foot forward.
And then the visionaries, those who brought lessons in leadership that inspire change.
Marketing is sort of this intersection of creativity and business, right? So there are business needs, right? This is, a company that's got real business needs, but how do you translate those business needs in a unique way, a creative way to connect with your guests emotionally?
While I do see a lot of brands chasing trends, whether that is, AR or ChatGPT or celebrities, I think that, a lot of brands do that without really considering how it fits into their brand and how it fits into what they're already known for. So, I think if you do that long enough, you lose your brand identity and you end up diluting your message.
I think live events is such a key thing here because a lot of the events, people are not going to your events to learn. I think people need to figure that out. If I'm going to a live event, it's because there are people in that room that I want to see, that I want to grab a drink with, that I want to hug, that I'm going to squeal as soon as I see them from across the room. We've spent so much time disconnected and we've created these bonds with people we never would have met otherwise. But because the internet and because we've been forced to communicate in different ways, we've fostered these bonds with people we would have never known before. And now that we are able to reconnect, we want desperately to go to those places to see them.
Branding is all about a feeling. People really try to overcomplicate it, but that really is all what it is. If people don't have a feeling when they say your name, if people don't have any type of butterflies, if you walk by, you won't stand out. So what's really crucial about building a killer brand is just to make people really stop and pay attention.
Of course, we couldn't ignore the trailblazers, the ones who saw the future before the rest of us. Across our episodes, we have seen experiences evolve. It's more inclusion, more intentional, and more innovation than ever before.
There's two common flaws or mistakes I see with event organization, but one of which is that people go into the event planning process without first establishing what is the goal of this event. If I go to anyone else in my company and I say, this is how we're defining success, you need to have that figured out and written down before you even start planning your event. Get buy-in so that you can go back and say, we delivered on what we said we were going to deliver on.
If anybody takes away one thing from our conversation today, it's that pivoting is not only a skill, but it's essential to sort of reinventing yourself, especially as a woman in this industry. The biggest takeaway there is sort of being able to parlay your skills for many different aspects and never really saying no, just sort of jumping in with both feet and saying, yes, I can. And trust me, if you do events, logistics, marketing, PR, communications, engagement. I mean, those are the skills that you learn just doing sort of any type of event that you can then move into many, many other skills and many other jobs.
What is experience really? For us, it has always been more a buzzword. It is a spark, the moment that someone walks into a room and feels something. From the energy of a live audience to a branded environment that tells a story, experience is how we connect deeply, and it's how we are remembered. Episode 54, Aaron Edwards from Dodgers reminded us that unity in a city starts with creating a shared emotion. In episode 52, Megan Pulver told us immersion isn't just tech, it's an empathy at scale. These aren't just quotes, they're blueprints for transformation. Over the last 100 episodes, EventUp has been downloaded in over 61 countries across different industries as well. We have hit major milestones recognized by FeedSpot and EventCube, but the most meaningful win, the message we got from you, the event pros, the marketers, the creative. That's why we do it. When I recorded the first episode of EventUp, I have no idea what this journey would become. I just knew there were more powerful stories waiting to be unfolded. Stories of resilience, innovation, and the magic behind unforgettable brand experiences. 100 episodes later, I'm in awe of our guests who have so generously shared their knowledge, in awe of our team who have poured their hearts and hustle into every edit, every question, every moment, and most of all, in awe of you, our listeners, our community, our reason for doing this. Every download, every message, every episode, you have made this more than a podcast. You have made it a platform for meaningful connections. So here's to 100 episodes of growth and gratitude and game-changing ideas. And here's to the next 100. We're just getting started.